Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. I'm doing another tutorial today about something I really love. Something I do at weddings, how I shoot, but first, you know, every YouTube video is gonna start with, I'm just gonna piss off all the coffee people. Oh, it looks so disgusting. It's really not that bad. All right, guys, but for real, today is about constant lights with wedding photography and filmmaking. I was introduced to this by my friend Henry Wu. He was lead shooting a wedding. I was second shooting for him. He busted them out, and my life was changed forever.
What is that?
It's my friend Henry.
Hey, what do I do now?
You can... Cool. Throughout the whole night when we were shooting with them, me being a wedding photographer as well, I was thinking, man, this would also really work for photography. I'm really interested in trying this out. So I immediately bought the whole set of stuff to be able to shoot with these lights, and then started applying it to shooting every single wedding with them, whether it was photo or video, and I never looked back. Oh man, it smells good on that when it comes back up. I'm going to show you how I use these lights, how I set them up, what they do, everything about them, how I use them in this video. So check it out. All right, let's get into it. These are halogen bulb lights, so they take light bulbs. They're 120 volts. You can focus and flood them, which means that you can focus across the room to one specific subject, or you can widen that spread to cover over a scene. You have to plug them in, and they take 250 watt or 120 volt bulbs. I don't know what that means. I just looked it up online. Okay, just full transparency. Okay. I love using these for weddings, especially at receptions. This is usually the only time I use them. They're just so incredibly dynamic. They look unbelievable. So let's go through all of the good things about these lights. They're super dynamic. They separate a subject from the background. You can shoot into them and you get these nice, beautiful flares. It's nice and warm and adds contrast to a room. It's just so much different than shooting with available light or shooting with a bounce flash or off-camera flash. As I mentioned before, you can focus the lights, so you can literally set these up across the room and they will reach, 20 to 50 feet across the room to light a subject who may be giving a speech or dances, whatever you want to light during the reception. It's usually those two things, speeches and dances. So on top of using them for speeches and dances, from time to time I love using them creatively for portraits, or if I'm doing video, the B-roll of the couple smooching and stuff. And my favorite part about these lights is that you can see your scene before you shoot it. I can't tell you how many times this has helped me creatively figure out which kind of approach I want to take to shooting speeches, shooting dances, shooting through people, shooting against reflections in windows, all sorts of craziness that I never would have thought of if I was just using off-camera flash or shooting with available light. In the moment, you get to see how the light wraps around your subject, how it works with what you're shooting, instead of using off-camera flash and constantly guessing and checking your screen to figure out what looks best. I know a lot of people get frustrated with that, and it's one of the biggest reasons why they don't want to use off-camera flash at a wedding. And I know all of the angry off-camera flash wedding photographers are going to comment down below and be like, you can get the same look if you just know how to use off-camera flash.
Why, yes, I am well aware of that, sir.
Now, although that may be true in theory, in practicality, yeah, you can shape off-camera flash to look similar, if not exactly the same, as these constant lights with their warmth. If you wanted to use gels or grids, yes, that can be done. But most people don't want to research and do the studying that it takes to do that and know off-camera flash like the back of their hand. I'm sure there's gonna be wedding filmmakers that are down in the comments too. They'll be like, you can get the same thing with LED lights, dude. Mostly that's just Matt Johnson saying But in all reality, most LED lights are not as strong as these. They don't have the capability to reach across the room in the same way. They're not as powerful. They are color variable, but they also don't react and interact with a sensor, a camera sensor, the same way these guys do. These things do incredible stuff to camera sensors, just beautiful flares and haze. It's very different than anything I've seen from an LED light. Plus LED lights are just way more expensive, especially if you want them to be this powerful. Side note, if you feel like this video is going to be a game changer for you and you want to do this and you think someone else might benefit from it, it would make me so happy if you shared it. That always helps my channel out, helps with the growth of what I do here and helping other people out in the industry as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe and turn on that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of the videos that I post. Oh yeah, also, if you give it a thumbs up, that helps with the algorithm and all that good jazz. So obviously there are going to be negatives in any lighting situation that you have, in any piece of gear that you have. So these are the negatives for these lights. You have to plug them in. So if you're at a place where plugs aren't there or they're way far away from where you want to put the light, you have to run gaff tape and an extension cord across the floor to get to that outlet. I do that maybe a quarter of the time when I shoot, and I always just hire a lighting assistant for about 20 bucks an hour to be with me to run those lights and make sure that it's not an issue for me. Another way to solve that problem is you can buy a battery, which is also in the description down below in that bundle that I've provided for you. It's expensive, but it's an option if you feel like you need to have that. They also get really hot, so you have to make sure that you're turning them off before you leave, well before you leave, so it's not like melting everything in your gear case. Since the lights do take halogen bulbs, they do burn out or blow out every once in a while. So you just have to make sure that you have extra bulbs with you at all times so that you can replace them on site. Grandma always complains about these things. It's always just like, can you turn off the light? It's in my eyes. And then I always have to go over and reassure her like, hey, it's only gonna be on during speeches, so don't worry about that. I was just testing it there. When it's on during speeches, you'll be looking that way, so no need to worry. And then you walk away and hope that she doesn't do it again. You do have to lug these things around in a case, however you want to, so that could be kind of cumbersome as well, but really no different than off-camera flash because they're about the size of a flash, and you need flash stands if you do off-camera as well, so kind of the same deal there. The last thing is that they are non-color variable. I haven't done a test on the temperature of the light, but I would assume they're around 3000 Kelvin, which means they're very warm, but that's what I like at receptions, that warm, vibrant vibe. I really like how that looks and how it looks in a dark space. If you run into an issue where there is other light in the room that is not matching with color, you could turn that light off, or if you're shooting photo, you could fix that in post. If you're shooting video, honestly, I've done mixed light with video. It really doesn't look that bad, the blue and the orange. And that's all the rage these days, right? Teal and orange. Shout out Sam Coulter. So in closing, if you know anything about me and how I shoot weddings and how I care about serving my clients, this is a huge component of that. I want to make sure that they have the best experience possible at their reception and enjoying it as much as possible. Although grandma might complain about the light being in her eyes for 5 seconds, these lights afford people the opportunity to see what's happening, the important things that are happening. When someone's giving a speech, when someone's doing a dance, it draws attention to those spots and people can see it from across the room. So experientially, it's so nice for them. On top of that, I know a lot of photographers complain about people using their cameras or their phones to take pictures at the reception. But in all reality, those people are just enjoying their time at a wedding. And I think it's our responsibility to be able to work around that and work in that, maybe even take photos of it. That's fine. That's part of this era. That's part of how people interact with weddings now. The light just makes those photos look really nice and they're really proud of them and excited about the images. So that's just a really cool experience for the guests as well. The thing I love about these most of all is actually pretty deeply philosophical with how I approach shooting. It's that the way they view their images, the way they view their film is exactly how they experienced it with these. Instead of an off-camera flash that's constantly firing off and lighting up a scene, it looks exactly the same as how they experienced watching their maid of honor or watching their best man or their parents speak or experience the dance that they had with their parent or each other. I think it's so cool that they can look back at these images and just be brought right back to those moments. Lastly, this whole setup without a carrying case is $440, which is insanely affordable. Literally with stands, with the actual lights, the replacement bulbs, the dimmers, the gaff tape, the extension cords, everything is only about $440. That's an insane value considering that Canon's newest, most expensive speedlight flash is more expensive than that. So consider it, pass it along to a friend, share this video if you think that they would like it. last thing is a big announcement. I am having a workshop in Chicago at my studio, Creative Club Chicago, this October 16th and 17th. Yes, that's right. It's 2 days long. If you've been following my work for a while or you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that I wanted to maybe do some workshops in different cities this year. It's not going to work out because we have children and stuff. But I want to do a full 2-day workshop here in Chicago. It's gonna be incredible. We're gonna talk about how to practically photograph weddings, how to get creative in your portraiture and shooting photojournalistically at weddings, the philosophy behind what I do and how I treat my clients, and it might make you cry. And finally, an introduction to video and shooting wedding films, how to do it and how to stand out while doing it. I'm so pumped for this, guys, because it's not only just education and an investment of you and your business to learn more and to get more creative with what you do, but it's gonna connect you with more creative people all across the country and maybe even the world if they choose to come to Chicago to support this. And you will just have people to refer to, you have people to connect to and bounce questions off of. It's just an insane, awesome investment for you. So there are no specific details yet, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that October 16th and 17th are those dates, and block them off in your calendar if you are interested. That's all I got for you guys today. Eric Floberg signing off with the Constant Lights at Weddings. Don't forget to lean into what makes you different, guys.
Makes me fall in love. Oh.